I just got my blood work back, and my doctor said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. So, after years of scary deficiencies, iron, B12, potassium so low that I was hospitalized, everything is finally normal. And here's how. Spoiler alert, it's not magic. It's the Ageless AF eating rhythm method, strategic supplements, and lifting like a boss. So let's break it down. But before I do, just want to let you know I'm Daphne, and I'm the face behind Ageless After 50, where we diet culture, reclaim our rhythm, and thrive unapologetically. So picture it. A few years ago, my blood lab work looked like a horror movie. My anemia was so low, I needed infusions. My vitamin D levels were basically in the basement, and my potassium had crashed so low to the point where I had to be hospitalized and rushed to the ER. Now, everything is normal levels. No more fatigue, no more panic calls from my doctor, and just proof that food freedom works when it's done right. So, what is my secret and what got me to where my doctor told me, whatever you're doing, keep doing it? The Ageless AF eating rhythm method, embracing it as part of my lifestyle. I created the method because I wanted to nourish my body first and then fast second. So it's a reimagination of intermittent fasting. It's not the intermittent fasting that you used to know back in the day. This is customized for us women over the age of 50 that now have special needs and special attention and life that happens all around us, and we have to put ourselves first. My secret was to nourish first, fast second, and I always keep that a priority. Always make sure that you are getting your nutrients first, and then your eating rhythm, your fasting window comes into play. So back in the day, I was doing way too much. I would fast for 2, 3, 4 days at a stretch, work out in the gym, doing mindless hours of cardio, literally. And all it resulted in was a wrecked metabolism. How do you know you've wrecked your metabolism? When you can so much as just look at a salad from across the room and you can feel the weight swelling within. That was me. And with just making a few minor adjustments, not only can I embrace the Ageless AF eating rhythm, but I also thrive at it. Thrive unapologetically has always been my end game. So, how did I fix these deficiencies? The first deficiency that I had was iron. I was painfully anemic to the point where I would have to get iron infusions in a chemo lab. It was really dire situation for many, many years. And finally, I have it stabilized that I'm getting the nutrition that I need from iron rich foods. And I also make sure I'm taking the proper supplements to get everything that I need in order. And that's something that I didn't do or didn't realize back in the day. I didn't realize that even if you're eating at your best capacity, because of the challenges that we go through after the age of 50, and it could be hormonal. I'm menopausal. I have Crohn's disease, so I have to combat that. And I have anxiety issues, and I'm 3 years on my sobriety journey. So I've had liver damage in the past, on top of the medication that I take that helps manage my Crohn's illness. Very powerful, biological. When you're taking biological, one of the risks that you run into is elevated liver enzymes. So liver is another one that was always kind of scary because my doctor wanted to make sure that he was clocking those numbers like a hawk. And to see those numbers be beautiful, again, it comes down to the Ageless AF eating rhythm method making sure that I'm putting nutrient-dense food in my body first before I reach for anything else. So when you see me advocate for eating protein first, that's one of the reasons why. A lot of protein is very rich in iron, so that helps tremendously. I eat it first, so it's the first thing that my body metabolizes. And I promise that we're not going to get into technical jargon on this. I want to make everything relatable so it makes sense. And there's plenty of science backed evidence data when it comes to intermittent fasting. So this enhances it. Before you approach any eating rhythm, please make sure to consult your doctor. I am not a physician and I'm not rendering medical advice. I'm sharing my experiences with you so that we can go on this journey together so you never feel alone and you don't have to go through the growing pains that I went through when I was embarking on this venture, because I knew there had to be an answer out there that did not relegate me to diets for the rest of my life. I knew there was a way where there was a life beyond diets at the end of the tunnel. So, iron was one, potassium. Ooh, let's talk about it. So, a lot of people don't know that potassium, if your levels drop low, that is actually life threatening and it requires hospitalization. And I have been there so many times. And it's terrible because you're feeling lightheaded, anxious, and you get these tingly, prickly tingles sensation all over your body. So I'm very aware of the warning signals. And then when you do get rushed to the ER, they have to put an IV drip in you. And I vividly remember it's like this colored green liquid. It's kind of viscous and it burns when it's being infused. Like when I tell you, I can viscerally right now recall it burning as it was going through my system. That's potassium. You don't want to be on that boat at all. It's not a flex. And the way I was able to finally maintain my potassium levels, and no, I'm not a fan of bananas. Sorry. I mean, cool, cool fruit, but most people say eat a banana. I don't like bananas, and bananas did not do the trick when I was scarfing them down. I had to rely on supplements to maintain my potassium levels. And I found one that also had magnesium since I have sleep issues. So the potassium with the magnesium was a chef's kiss to what my body needed for me. So before I proceed, if you like what you've heard so far, make sure to hit that like button because I'll be creating so much more content. And this is the way that YouTube knows that we are out here in these ageless AF streets. So, with that said, moving on. With potassium, I'm not a fan of coconut water. I know it's one of those you either love it or you hate it. My fiance loves coconut water, so he drinks it in droves. I infuse my water with like Persian limes or lime because I like that cocktail feel, of course. But getting my water and hydration is really important. Coupling the supplements with very nutrient dense foods, sweet potatoes is a big one. That's what I feed to my adorable little dog. And so we both eat very similarly. I cook all his food and I cook all of my food. And with that said, combining is balance. Make sure that your food is nutrient dense. That is my first go to. Before I put it in my mouth, how is this going to benefit my body? And again, do not get me wrong. I am not telling you to limit yourself to only a certain type of food. I'm not telling you to go on a certain type of diet or saying, okay, you're going to be having to consume carrot sticks or kale salad or dry turkey for the remainder of your, no. Eat the foods that you love. And as you're doing that, strategically pick out protein, get your nutrients in first. Perfect example, I love pizza. I love pizza. Pizza's probably not one of the healthiest foods on the planet. Like it's you can tear apart and I don't do the I call it faux pizza, the cauliflower crust, all that. No. If I'm going to eat pizza, I want a pizza. I love like a New York style. Okay. So, circling the airport, I will land this plane. Going back to the pizza, what I do now when I eat pizza is I always get one with either supreme or meat lovers toppings. And I'll pick the toppings off first, the meat, and eat that first before I even go into the dough. And I know that sounds like a lot of trouble. It literally is just a habit now. I do the same thing with fried chicken. I'll pick off the and I love fried chicken, so I know this really sounds great. But let me cook. I will just pick off the batter off fried chicken. Like I'll bite into it. Oh, this batter is good. Then I'll put it off and just get the chicken. But it's a paradigm shift in my mind where I'm going for the nutrient dense food. And you'll know what that is as you're doing because you'll see how your body adapts as you find your rhythm. Check out my other videos that break down the type of ageless AF eating rhythm methods that you can adapt to. The first one I always recommend if you're new to intermittent fasting, the 12-12 method is perfect to start off with because it is a 12-hour fasting window. You can easily start when you finish dinner the night before, say around 8 p.m. And then the following morning, you restart your window. That's 8 a.m. So that is an example of a 12-hour fast. Super duper easy. And in that scenario, you're not mindlessly midnight snacking or grazing after dinner when you're probably psychologically full, but you might be bored or you're distracted. There's a number of ways that we overeat when we're not aware of it. And I'll be showing you how to be mindful of your eating, where you will stop gulping meals down in the car. You'll stop eating in front of the TV. You will see food as almost like a mini event, like it's your time to cater to yourself because you are putting nutrition back into your body. And now your window's open. You only have a certain amount of time for that window. So you have to maximize the time period to put nutrients in your body. And once that shifts, you'll see that you're only working with, in the first case, I gave you 12 hours. So you have a 12-hour window to eat. That does not mean that you're eating for 12 hours. That's your space. Once you see that even when you're new to this, then you'll become true to this. You'll go into the 16-8 model where it's 16 hours of fasting and an 8-hour window. That's where you'll really see the transition of how you feel. You're more alert and you'll see that it just really starts clearing the brain fog that's going on. And then as you increase 20-hour window, and that's 20 hours of fasting and 4 hours of your eating window. That one is the one that had me in a chokehold. It showed me the depth of how I could control not only my appetite, but also just my urges because it really is delayed gratification. And once you grasp that and you realize you can have anything you want, there are no restrictions. I'm not restricting you from anything. You can have anything you want. All I ask is once your window is open, you break your fast with protein and make sure you subscribe because I will be creating another video about how to properly break your fast and why it is important to do it with protein and what constitutes as protein, because a lot of times we misunderstand what is true protein and what is protein that our body might not be using in a maximum capacity. So I'll be showing all of that to you in my next video. So make sure you subscribe right now so you'll receive that alert when that video comes up. But circling the airport and moving. Vitamin B12, I used to have to take vitamin B12 injections every week. My levels were so incredibly low that looking back now and seeing how everything is now, I can see why my doctor was just like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I've been with my doctor for 20 years. He's seen me through all of it, all of the shifts, all of the weights. My max was 400, and then I bottomed out at 162, and then just elevated and really stayed around the 185, 200 mark for the majority of my 30s and most of my 40s. And it wasn't until I really embraced intermittent fasting and then remixed it, because with the intermittent fasting, I went from that 185 to 162, and I thought that was wonderful. But I was really struggling. And at the time, I didn't realize I was, again, doing too much. I was fasting too much. And there is such a thing as fasting too much. I was doing it every day, and I was doing it for stretches of time, 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days, I believe is my max that I've done it. And what happened was I killed my metabolism, meaning that it was very easy for me to gain weight during that period, even though I was losing a lot of weight when I initially started. But then my body became very adjusted to it. Your body is very smart, and your body can adapt quicker than you think. Our brain probably takes a lot longer than our body can adapt. So I was very adapted to fasting, and still am. I can still go for a long period of time without eating. But I realize now that is not the flex that I thought it was. The flex is to make sure that I'm getting my nutrients and I come back with awesome blood lab results. That's the flex. But going 3-4 days without eating to the point where I was passing out, that's not wise, that's not healthy, and it's not recommended. Don't do that. And that is not what the Ageless AF eating rhythm method is about. It is complete opposite. It's about adjusting this way of eating to adapt to your lifestyle, your rules, your life. You make the decisions. And a PSA, never just pop supplements blindly. I know there's everything out there on social media, TV. Oh, take this pill, it'll do that. Take that pill, it'll do this. Or you can do that. Get blood lab work done. Consult your physician and make sure that the both of you are on the same page, because there is such a thing as getting too much of a good thing at toxicity levels of either vitamin B or vitamin D. There is such a thing. That's not healthy either. So you want to watch that, and you want to make sure that you're in sync with your doctor, because both of you know and want what's best for you. So I want to make sure I'm making that very clear. I'm here again to share my experience and my journey with you, and hopefully inspire you to come on this ongoing journey with me. One thing about this journey, in that example I was giving, it wasn't until I hit my 50s and finally realized, okay, this is what I was doing wrong, and changed it. I was doing too much cardio. Got that out of the way. Instead of doing so much cardio, I started strength training. Complete game changer. I became stronger. It redefined the definition of my body, and the weight plummeted, and it boosted my metabolism. Really adjusting my windows to my lifestyle and what my body needs. So I no longer fast every day, and I no longer fast for extended periods of time. Now I fast maybe 2 or 3 days a week. My fasting style of choice is ADF, which is alternate day fasting, where you fast for the entire day and then your window is open the next day. And I can adjust that. It works perfectly with my life, social activities, and so forth. I can adjust accordingly. Now, I don't recommend doing that right out of the gate, because you need to start building your fasting muscle before we jump into the deep part of the ocean. But that's just something that you can see that's at the end, and it'll be seamless, and you just plan around it. And again, I said I don't fast every day. I don't need to. My weight finally stabilized at 135, 140, and it's been like this for a little bit over 2 years. And it feels amazing. And to see the blood lab work come back in all of those hiccup areas, B12, the potassium, the liver, oh my goodness, my liver enzymes are finally normal. They were elevated for so many years to the point of concern. Another secret, milk thistle. Great supplement, great for me because I take medications that a side effect is it can raise your liver enzymes. So that's one of my secrets, milk thistle. Again, make sure you consult your doctor because what works for me may not be the same for you. You might have deficiencies that I don't have, and vice versa. Case in point, I have never had a sodium level issue. My sodium levels tend to be low, and I don't have high blood pressure. I tend to have low blood pressure, which is dangerous because you get lightheaded very often. Everything's a balance. What is one person's deficiency may not be another's. But to put it all into context, that's why you have to know what yours is. I'm menopausal. That comes with a host of other deficiencies that I have to now make up for that I didn't have 5, 6 years ago. And check out my video on menopause. And if you want to see something, I literally was having a hot flash during the recording of that specific video. And I was just like, you know what? Never mind. I'm just going to record so you can see me experience a hot flash in real time. So that was that video. Strength training really was what catapulted me to this next level of success with the Ageless AF rhythm method. Strength training, after so many years of doing cardio, I was damaging my muscle and did not realize it. With the strength training now, I'm building it up and I'm so much stronger than I was even a year ago. And it's consistent. I work out with my strength training routine 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then I do cardio. On the days that I'm lifting, I'll only do 30 minutes of cardio. On the days that I'm not, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 45 minutes of cardio. And then I take the weekends off. That's it. So it's a far cry from the 90-minute, 2 times a day cardio session that I used to do. And to no avail. My doctor's exact words were, your discipline paid off. But let's be clear, this isn't about restriction. It's about strategic luxury. I still eat chocolate. I just pair it with my iron-rich meals now. That's the Ageless AF way. So if you want my free guide on supplements, fasting rhythms, and how to stabilize your lab test results, then check out the link below for my free guide to luxurious eating. All yours, my gift to you. So with that said, make sure to please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of great content coming up. Your turn. Get those labs and talk to your doctor. And remember, age isn't a limit, it's leverage. I'll see you in the comments.